Grounding Inc. brings us a new game in the Death Note franchise as Light and L battle it out using figures on a game board. Through deduction and smart play, players take sides as either Team Kira or Team Investigators, each trying to outwit the other. Will Kira's reign end in triumph or failure? The stakes are high, but for players familiar with social deduction games, Killer Within will feel like well-trodden ground. Familiarity can be helpful, sure, but here it works against the game, which doesn't break free from the formula despite being backed up by a popular IP. In Killer Within, your goal is to secure a win for your team. You're either on Team Investigators or Team Kira, and if you know Death Note, you'll recognize the roles. The Investigators, led by a player acting as L, must deduce which player is Kira and ensure their arrest to destroy the Death Note. Team Kira, on the other hand, must find out L's identity and eliminate him. Bonus points for fans, Team Kira includes cute chibi figures of Ryuk and Rem. If they manage to kill L, Team Kira wins. Kira only has one assistant, whose role is to blend in and get close to other players to steal their ID cards so Kira can use the Death Note, but only during the daytime phase. It's often better for Kira to let their assistant do the card swiping to avoid drawing attention. If Kira becomes too suspicious, they can pass the Death Note to their assistant, swapping roles. This role swap can be a clever move, but it comes with risks. The animation of passing the Death Note is visible to others and could raise alarms with investigators. Investigators' objectives revolve around gathering clues from NPCs scattered across the game's map. NPCs can offer hints about suspicious activity in their area, though they're not always safe themselves, as they can sometimes be eliminated too. Some players receive extra tasks like delivering items to other players, avoiding others to keep documents safe, or tailing someone suspicious. However, the tasks for investigators are limited. There's no variety beyond simple scouting and a few repetitive interactions, which can get stale. It feels like there's a missed opportunity here. The game could benefit from additional tasks for both teams, especially Team Kira, who has even fewer objectives beyond swiping cards and using command cards. Tasks are performed through prompts on the navigational pad, which are fun but brief. They only last a few seconds. I'd like to see them be more engaging to add a layer of challenge rather than just a quick press X interaction. For Team Kira, an added challenge when trying to steal ID cards would also help even the playing field, as it's currently easier for them to swipe than it is for investigators to interrogate NPCs. Completing tasks fills a progress meter for both teams, and if either meter reaches 100, the game will end in victory for that team. This meter system works as a backup win condition, offering players an alternative way to claim victory. 3 of the 4 roles in the game, Kira, L, and Kira's assistant, can use command cards. Investigators don't have access to this feature. Command cards trigger events designed to lure out suspects or, in Team Kira's case, distract investigators so they can swipe ID cards more easily. Failing to complete command card events like investigating dead bodies or setting up surveillance can result in the opponent's progress meter increasing significantly. The more points each team accumulates, the more command cards they can use as the match progresses, which adds strategic depth to the game. Each round has day and night cycles, and Kira cannot use the Death Note during night, forcing them to blend in. When the day ends, the voting phase begins, where players discuss suspicions and try to identify Kira based on behavior from the previous round. Surprisingly, getting accused doesn't mean instant elimination, which is a nice twist. Instead, suspects are leaked and must be escorted by another player. They're basically marked for death at this point though, since Kira can target them more easily. This mechanic keeps the game engaging and adds tension, as even falsely accused players remain at risk. I appreciated that suspects with the most votes aren't immediately eliminated. It gives them a chance to survive a bit longer. Killer Within lets you play as finger puppets styled like those Nier owns in the series, or as Nendoroid-like avatars based on Death Note characters. Are currently figures of L, Light, Misa, and even Naomi, in a rock outfit of all things, but hey, it works. Customization options are surprisingly robust, with plenty of ways to personalize your finger puppet or Nendoroid character. You can even add accessories like ribbons, face masks, and more. However, while there's a good amount of customization available, much of it is locked behind a paywall. Though you can earn items by leveling up, unlocking the more unique options, especially the Nendoroid avatars, requires real money. To its credit, the game's premium features aren't overly expensive. For around $4, you can access premium items, and for around $8, you gain access to a wider range of options. Compared Compared to other games, Killer Within's premium options feel reasonably priced, even if it is a bit disappointing that so many customization choices are locked from the start. It didn't take long for boredom to set in with Killer Within, as the game doesn't differentiate itself much from other social deduction titles. On top of that, technical issues made the experience even less enjoyable. Finding a stable room was tough, particularly ones with microphone use. A glitch where players get booted back to the waiting room was common in matches with voice chat, and this glitch happened in most of my sessions involving microphones. Killer Within also lacks a CPU replacement system, so if a player leaves mid-match, it's an automatic draw. This is especially frustrating when a win is within reach, only to have it nullified by a player's sudden exit. Adding to this annoyance, no EXP is awarded if the match ends early, and this experience is needed to unlock avatar and profile badge customizations. Another issue was with the game's audio balance. Even with volume turned up, music was quiet, especially with loud player microphones. This might be intentional to prioritize voice chat, but it made the atmosphere feel a bit empty, which is a shame in a game inspired by Death Note's tension-filled universe. Despite its issues, Killer Within does have a few bright spots. It includes a tutorial and even a training mode. Both are rare features in online social games. I've always appreciated training modes for practicing before entering live matches, and more online games should take note. Character-wise, it was entertaining to see Light and L's expressions throughout matches. They and Misa also give advice, though it's repetitive and more annoying than helpful. Still, watching L and Light react during cutscenes when a character dies was a nice touch that felt true to the source material. Killer Within could have been an ideal fit for the Death Note franchise, but despite its potential, it falls short. At its core, it feels like a diluted version of other games in its genre, with little to set it apart beyond the Death Note branding, command cards, and slightly unique voting mechanics. Even using the Death Note itself doesn't feel particularly satisfying, as you'll see the same few death animations, characters falling, getting crushed by chandeliers, or hit by trucks repeatedly. Killer Within is free to play on PlayStation Plus, but it costs $8 for players not subscribed to the service. Given the limited originality and relatively few features, it's hard to recommend for anyone other than dedicated Death Note fans. With other free-to-play social deduction games out there that offer more, Killer Within doesn't do much to earn its place. Though future updates could add more maps or content, I worry the player base may dwindle before these changes arrive. Noisy Pixel is giving Death Note Killer Within a 5.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth and subscribe to keep up with all of our future content.
Noisy Pixel.